Well, one of the largest oil storage facilities in the United States is about at tank bottoms, and I'm getting a lot of questions about that. So I'm going to explain what tank bottoms means and what it actually means that Cushing, the oil storage facility I'm talking about, what it means that it's at tank bottoms. So first of all, what is tank bottoms exactly? It doesn't mean you're completely out of oil, first of all. You store oil in a tank for a long time. It settles out, sediment settles out of it, dirt, metal particulates, sludge. This all forms in the bottom of the tank. When you get down to that, you're at tank bottoms. And you can actually still use this. A lot of people say you can't, but you can. It just takes a long time to process it, deliver it to the market. And a lot of people are freaking out because Cushing is at tank bottoms. And this star right here represents Cushing. And this, as you can see, is the pipeline hub, the pipeline crossroads of the United States. All meets in Cushing, massive storage facilities and pipelines there. But Cushing isn't as significant as it was in the 80s and 90s. And the price of WTI, the price of U.S. oil, is literally delivered from Cushing still. I don't know why, because the inventory levels at Cushing aren't as significant as they used to be. As a matter of fact, inventory levels at Cushing have been low for years and years. So when you hear someone say tank bottoms at Cushing, it might sound scary, but it's not. It really doesn't mean that much. And that's because we don't store as much oil at Cushing as we used to. We used to take a lot of oil from West Texas, the Keystone, all up north. We used to all flow into Cushing. A lot of it would get stored there. We added a ton of additional pipeline capacity going straight from West Texas to the Gulf Coast area. So Cushing just doesn't receive as much oil as it used to. Why would you send it all through here when you can just do this? And even though the price of U.S. oil is based largely on inventory levels because it's based on delivery from Cushing, it doesn't mean that traders don't understand that Cushing isn't as significant as it used to be. Because if it was the price of oil with Cushing currently at or near tank bottoms, the price of oil would be much, much higher than it is. Traders understand it's not as significant as it used to be. So don't let the words tank bottoms cause you any fear or anxiety. Because the United States is not going to run out of oil. We are 6 or 7% below the 5-year average. We're not going to run out of gasoline. We're not going to run out of diesel. But the inventory levels are low enough that it will cause prices to remain elevated regardless. And I'm talking about refined fuels. Regardless of what the price of oil does, the price of refined fuels is going to stay elevated because of the inventory levels of the refined fuels. And once we hit tank bottoms in the SPR, which, oh, by the way, you can get a dozen different opinions on what tank bottoms in the SPR are. None of them are correct because we don't know what tank bottoms are in the SPR. We've never drawn it down that low. Some people say 300 million, some people say 275, some people say 250. I say we'll find out when it stops pumping oil. But what that means when the SPR runs out, it won't mean that we will run short on oil. It means we will no longer be able to send the amount of crude oil and refined fuels to other countries around the world that are actually experiencing shortages. And that will cause further inflation of the price of gasoline and diesel as those nations start bidding ridiculous amounts of money to get the diesel they need because they're having shortages, not us. So it will cause price spikes in the United States, but it's not going to cause shortages. I've said that from the beginning, and I'm still saying it now. I don't see any shortages in the United States. We produce just about, between the United States, Canada, and Mexico, and what we import from Canada and Mexico, we produce enough gasoline and diesel to keep us going. We're going to be fine. So when you hear tank bottoms, don't freak out. Just freak out about the price. Yeah. Thanks.